Hey everybody, it's Knox from the bunker. We're going to do a walkthrough today on VulnNet Node. VulnNet Node. This is another box in the VulnNet series. And as the name implies, it is most likely a Node.js server because it's VulnNet Node. The great, amazing developers at VulnNet have yet again come back with another machine that they think is impenetrable, but we will prove them wrong. So we'll go ahead and start with a little recon on this machine. I've already run auto recon, but for those of you that want to see it, here's Nmap. We can run a little Nmap scan here. So I've got Nmap, and we hit start. Now, you may be asking yourself, Knox, what are these flags that you have on the Nmap command? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm not going to tell you because I'm going to suggest that you take something like this. When you see something like this and you don't know what these flags are, you need to copy this, and then you need to go to a handy dandy little website called Explain Shell, and then you need to paste it in. So if I go back here and paste them in again, it doesn't know what this is, but it does. It knows what Nmap is, and it says it's a network exploration tool. It knows what the SC flag is. The SC flag performs script scan using the default set of scripts, and then it knows what SV is. That is the version detection. And then it knows what ON is, and that is the output normal. So that would just be the normal output. And then, of course, we gave that normal output a name. That's what this is. And then that is the IP address we want to scan. So explain shell, it is amazing. When you don't know what a command is, even things like netcat. Netcat's not a, or excuse me, Nmap, saying the wrong thing. Nmap is not standard necessarily in a Linux distribution, but explain shell still has the breakdown for it. So really cool stuff. Also, if I come back over here, oh, it's already done. And 8080 is the only port we have open, but I am going to show you one more thing. In case you never knew, if you're running a long Nmap scan and you're just sitting here twiddling your thumbs going, man, I wonder how long this Nmap scan is going to be. You may have never been told, but if you hit the space bar while it's going, it will give you a ETA, right? Like how much it's got done and how much it's got left. So you see it has 60, it has 58% done at this point, and it said it had 6 seconds remaining. And when it says 6 seconds remaining, it means on that particular phase that it's going through, like one phase may be the scanning, one phase may be the script stuff. So anyway, port 8080 is the only port that is open that it found. And of course, we weren't doing every single port, but we did find that. And it's HTTP. This is a Node.js Express framework. So it's using Node, as we suspected with the name of the box. And it's using the Express framework. That's a front-end framework, I believe, for Node.js. So we know that we're dealing with Node. And it's on port 8080. All right, so that's all good information. So let's go back over here to VulnNet. And we're going to on port 8080, as you see there. Here it is. And here is the website. Now, we are not going to spend a bunch of time trying to figure out. You could click on the login. You could play with it. You could think about brute forcing it. You could do a lot of stuff. But I'm going to save you a lot of time and let you know that we need to focus in on this cookie right here. This is the cookie. So it gives you it's and the name is even session. So that like tells us right there, like, oh, this is a session cookie. This might be useful. So let's double click on this guy and we'll copy him. And we're going to go back over here and we're going to echo. And I've already been playing with this, so you can see it's kind of giving away my thunder here a little bit. So there's the cookie. It looks like base 64. We use the pipe and base 64 with D flag for decode. And there we get username guest. Is guest true? Oh yeah, this is nice. This is a session key, and it actually is saying like what username and is it a guest. Now you see there it has that base 64 invalid input. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that what that is see these %3Ds on here. This has been HTML encoded on top of being base 64 encoded, because HTML, like if you put this in a URL, it doesn't like punctuation, especially it misinterprets it, so it uses the HTML encoding. So a %3D is an equal sign. So if we put two equal signs here, see %3D equals, now it really looks like base 64, and now we decode it, and now it comes back without any errors. So I just want to throw that out there because I have seen this before, and this is just experience from doing other boxes. If you see that and you're getting this like invalid input, that's all that is. Those percents like that, it's like, oh, it got HTML encoded too. All right, so let's try to modify this and put it back in. So we're gonna try. We're gonna show you another thing. If you go to Burp Suite, let's open up Burp. And you may not know this, but Burp Suite has a really nice decoder built in. So here's Burp Suite. Got our tabs. There's the proxy tab. We've used that, the repeater tab. But here's a decoder tab. So if we paste in, I have to use the keyboard, paste it in there. Now it's got these, the percent, it didn't change the %3Ds when it did the decoding of the base 64. And so we get some junk down here, but I am intentionally going to leave that junk for now. We're going to try to use like admin. What we're actually going to do here is we're going to pass this, but what we're really trying to get it to do is to throw us an error. Because when it throws the error, we're going to get some pretty good information back from that error. So let's try this and see if this is enough to get it to throw the error for us. I'm going to use Control-C to copy. I'm going to go back to here. We're going to double click in here. We're going to paste back in the new modified cookie. We're going to refresh the page, and bingo, we got some error. So let's look at this. So syntax error. Can I make this bigger? Can I like? Oh, I can. That's funny. I can make the error bigger. So we see here this is an unexpected token in the JSON, and really, what's funny is if we fixed this JSON and we actually did this right, and I changed this to the equals, and then decoded it. Now look, the decoding is perfect, and now I changed it to admin. The thing is that I've done this because I've done the box, and if you do it right, you try to modify the cookie and put it in, and it just doesn't work, right? You like try to change it to admin and is guessed false, and it doesn't do anything. But if you throw in the garbage, if you leave the garbage in it and cause it to throw an error, we actually get better information. So let's look at this. At JSON parse anonymous objects exports unserialized. So that's a function, unserialize. And it even tells us where, and it just says I can't do it. I just can't. It's Monday and I haven't had enough coffee, and Node.js falls over. So with that in mind, we're going to Google, because that's what you should do at this point. We're going to Google Node. You can see I've already done it over here. Exploit Node Express, because we already know we're on a Node Express box. Serialized JSON, and I found this really great article exploiting Node.js deserialization bug. What if we put, because I think that actually says unserialized. So if we put unserialized, do we still get the same nice article? Unserialized. Yeah, we do. Okay, so either way, it's still the #1 article that pops up. So this article, we won't take the time to read it, but if you find it, it's a great article. It does come up if you do that Google search. What it basically tells you is that you have serialized JSON, which that I've gotten angry before, because it's like, what the frick does that even mean? Unserialized JSON, like, that's just developer speak that doesn't make a lot of sense. What it means is, if we go back to our, actually, let's go here. If you go back here, the serialized JSON just means it's like they're pieces, right? There's a piece here, and there's a piece here. And so it's serialized in the sense that, like, think like a movie and a TV show. A movie is like a singular thing you watch and it's over, and then you're sad and you're waiting for the sequel. A TV show is, you can see my air quotes down in the bunker here, serialized, like, you get a new episode weekly. So see, we've got these different pieces of the JSON. I know, it's like, why can't they just speak English? Anyway, unserialized JSON. We found the exploit. We found it here. What we can do is we can create a malicious payload, and we can base 64 it and literally put the entire malicious payload into base 64 and pass it in as a cookie. No joke. So that's what this article is all about. If you want to read this article, this is just like a generic version of using that kind of exploit. We're going to walk through it here. So he puts some sample code in here for how to generate the payload up here somewhere. But I found some better code, and then I even took that code and updated it just a little bit. So over here in VS Code, if I go to in here and I get the Node.js shell 3, here it is, and I modified it so it's got a little better usage information and stuff. So this is a nice little script. It's going to ask you for your local host and your local port, and then it's going to create that shell, and it's actually even going to base 64 encode it for us. How nice is that? So let's go ahead and use this. Now, before I do that, let's make sure we're getting into territory where we're getting close to having the reverse shell. So let's make sure that we have a listener going. Okay, so right here, I've got my listener. I've got it on 1337 and on my machine. Okay, so let's go back over here. Always do that. Make sure my listener is started good and early. Okay, let's actually use another one here. Let's go to this guy. He's already here, and we'll go to Python 3. I've already got it set up. Python 3. Oh, and I modified this. I hate it when scripts don't do this. This script before didn't do this, but now if you just put in the script and you hit enter, it says usage, because I hate it when scripts don't give you a little usage. So I actually modified it to do that. So there we go. There's my IP. There's my what I want to listen on. We hit enter, and boom, it pops out this really ugly base 64 stuff that we don't need that little quote on the end. Oh man, how high does this go? Oh man, right there. That B is for bytes. That's the Python. So this was the actual this is it in ASCII, I believe, and then you convert the ASCII with, and it has to go in as a JSON. I mean a JavaScript function, so it's got to have the curly bracket and the braces all set up correctly to work. And then this little B right here stands for bytes. So right here is where the code, we had the payload for, see here, our remote code execution function payload, and you can even see here at the end, it's payload, and then it adds the curly brace, the open close parentheses, another quote, and another curly bracket, and there they are right there. So you see the end of it right there. And then the very next line here, line 63, is payload base 64, and then you're going to print that payload. So that's what the B is on the front of it, because it's technically like in bytes. So we're going to copy this. All right, and now we're going to go to back to our site, and we're going to double click. We're going to paste this giant monster in. We're going to hit enter, and we're going to refresh the page. Oh, and you can even see it right down here, connected. All right, so we are on the box. We have found ourselves on, and I am dub. So I am the dub user on this machine. Let's pop back over here to VS Code, and let's get, oh, before we do that, I guess I should find out what, so which Python, okay, which Python 3, oh yeah, I like Python 3 better than Python 2. If it's there, I just give it preferential treatment. Copy, and we're going to paste the Python 3, paste. I don't know why I'm pasting like that. Should just use my keyboard shortcut. Okay, so now we are dub at VulnNet node. Okay. Um, and let's see, what else do we want to do? Let's go ahead and do the things we should do, which is I've got this little command here, and I need to post this, I guess, too somewhere because you guys are probably going to want it. But this is, again, I stole this from Siren, from OffSec. This is just a really nice, you export the path variable, and all of these paths are the standard paths for like Debian, Ubuntu, and like Red Hat CentOS. And then you also export the terminal and the colors, and then I have my little alias in here because if I don't have my LL alias, I just go insane. My LL for LS TAC LAH. So we're going to paste this guy in here. Again, why am I not using my keyboard shortcut? So we paste that in. Okay, so now we should have that. And then lastly, I've got my little dude down here that I really like. This is a little one-liner that I made, and it, as you can see here, it does a bunch of whiches, like which GCC, which CC, which Python 3, which Perl, which wget, which curl, which netcat, who am I, and a bunch of other junk. So this little one-liner, when I paste it in here, stop it, Knox, and use the keyboard shortcut. There we go. So there we go. Then that way we get, it does have GCC, so that is the C compiler. It's got Python, it's got Perl, it's got wget and curl, it's got netcat. We are the www user. We're at 1001. We have a 64-bit bash installed. The kernel is 4.15, so we get kernel information, and then I also do like Etsy issue and stuff like that, and we find out we're on Ubuntu 18. So with all of that in mind, the next thing I would normally do is I would go to the home directory, and we're going to look around in home, and we see there are two users. There's server manage and there's www. The other thing I'm going to want to do really fast is I'm going to cat Etsy password, and I would normally, I'm not going to waste the time doing it right now, but I would normally copy this guy. So I would take all of this to here, and I would copy it and save it in a, well, actually we'll go ahead and do it. We'll copy this, and then we'll go over here into my folder for VulnNet node. I don't think I've done this. So I'm going to new file, and I name it etsy-password.text, and I just paste it in here so that I can have a look at it. And then I even have like a little user enum little script I made, and I'm able to run it on my local machine, and it will automatically strip all the other junk out. And then if I go down here, it just real quick shows me which users are in there. And I guess I need to put that one in my little repo too, so you guys can see that one. So it's just as server manage and www. Those are the only two that we see right now. And so now at this point, if I was getting squirrely and really in a hurry, I would check these out and see like, okay, so I have my own home directory, which is unusual. www doesn't normally have that. So let's go in here and take a look. Whoops, at the www home directory. And here it is. And there's not really, let's see. History's going to dev null. Most CTF boxes are, you'll see that immediately, history going to dev null, which means that there's no history. So, and it also means it's not keeping history, right? Oh no, it does. It just, as soon as we save it, leave the shell, it's gone. It doesn't save it to bash history because bash history is linked to dev null. And they do that on purpose. In the real world, you'd really want to check the bash history to see if you could get any juicy tidbits from that. There's some other dot files like the config file, local, the npm profile, and there's the actual VulnNet node. This is, I believe, the folder that is where the website is at. So we'll at least just take a look in here real fast. Yeah, there's the CSS, there's the image directory, we've got license, login, but nothing that is really that interesting or different than we already knew about. No like hidden secrets.txt or anything weird like that. So at this point, I would be thinking, oh man, I want to wget HTTP here on my local machine 10.13.26.0 lse.sh and start running LSE on the machine to kind of help find some prevest stuff. But we've skipped a step. What we should do is we should just simply run sudo l to find out what if the www user can use sudo. I don't think about this sometimes because I think to myself, this is the www user. Why would it have any privileges at all? But I mean, for our purposes, we want it to have permissions, right? So we run this and we see that we are able to run the www user may run the following commands on VulnNet node. Now notice it has server manage in parentheses. That means that as the www user, we have to run as server manage user bin npm. So we have to run it as server manage. So we can't run it as root, but we can run it as a different user. So we can try to pivot from the www user to the server manage user. And we're allowed to use npm. So let's go over here and we're going to go to GTFO bins, which is a wonderful website for when we have these kind of situations where we can run a binary of some kind as a different user. So let's look up npm, and it has it. And it says that if the binary is allowed to run as a super user, it does not drop elevated privileges and may be used to access the file system or escalate or maintain privileged access. So, and then it has the way that you do that right here. So it's going to make this temp file, and then you're going to echo this actual command, scripts install package JSON, and then you're going to sudo npm blah blah blah. And what it'll do is it'll actually pop the shell out right in your shell you're already in. You don't need to have another reverse shell or anything, and you can run this. Now, what I have done, because I had to play with this for a little bit to get it to work right, is I got it to work, and then not only got it to work, but went ahead and just stuck it into a one-liner. I like one-liners. So we're going to copy my one-liner I made, and we're going to copy, and then I'll talk about it before I run it. I did it again. Use the keyboard shortcut. There we go. Okay, so we're going to do this make temp d. So we're making a temp directory. We're going to echo this JSON, right? So the JSON is scripts, and the scripts is pre-install, and pre-install equals bin sh, so bin shell. And we're going to pipe that into, remember this is a temporary directory, TF, temporary folder, maybe that's why they call it TF, I don't know. But you can see there TF packages.json. Now, the problem I had was that I noticed that for some reason I had to chmod it. And not only did you have to chmod it, but you got to chmod recursively because it's a folder. So we want to chmod everything with this temporary folder. That's what I'm going to call it from now on. I'll call it temporary folder because it's TF. We're going to chmod 777. That means all permissions, read, write, execute recursively on this folder. So everything that has to do with this folder is now open to the world. And then we're going to run sudo. Remember, we have to run it as server managed. So we're going to use sudo with the tac u flag for user. So that means sudo as this user server manage. And we're going to, I put the full path in, user bin npm, always safer to use the full path. And then I don't know what the C is because I don't know npm, but apparently we're going to point at this folder, and then we're going to give it some kind of flag that says unsafe permission. Again, I don't know npm. I'm just taking GTFO bins word for it, and we run this, and maybe, oh, it worked. Okay, it just took it a hot sec to run, and here we are, and we're back to a crappy shell again. So we see here it looks like it ran bin shell. We've got a $sign. If you didn't know, the $sign is a regular user. If there's a pound sign at the beginning of this line, we are root. We are some kind of elevated user. So we do who am I, and we are server managed now. Okay, so now let's go back to VS Code. Let's go here. Let's grab the, and so, okay, now we're going to take a break. On a lot of machines, you don't necessarily have to like do crazy shell stabilization, as they call it. But this box, we're going to need to use Nano in a minute to edit a couple of files. Just spoiler alert, right? And the problem is that to use Nano in a shell, that a reverse shell is a pain in the butt. And I would prefer to use VI, by the way, or Vim. I'm a VI Vim guy. I don't like Nano. I find it annoying. But VI is even harder to try to run in a reverse shell. Nano is a little more forgiving. So I'm gonna show you here. So what we want to do is we want to, again, use the Python, use the keyboard shortcuts. There we go. Put this in. We get an okay. So now we have a better shell, a real shell, right? And so now I've got my little notes over here. So now we need to do export xterm, which actually I'm going to go ahead and go back and use the one from here so that I've got, because it's in here, export term xterm, and it just has the colors added to it. And I've used this one and it worked fine. So we're going to use this guy. Also, this gets me the my LL. I want my LL. All right, so there it is. And now I think we're ready for the part that is like scary, and that is we want to use Control Z to background this. So we're going to hit Control Z. Now I am back to Knox on my machine. We have suspended our shell in the background. It's just kind of chilling back there, which is scary sometimes if it was really hard to get that shell and you don't want to lose it. And then we're going to run this STTY raw thing. And then you just, again, it's a one-liner. So we have a semicolon and then foreground. So we're going to run this STTY raw echo and then foreground. By the way, this whole terminal window will be crap once we come back from using the reverse shell. So once you're done with the reverse shell, we're going to have to get rid of it. But so we hit this. Okay, now this is how I know it worked right. Do you see that how it like kicked over to the side here, and I'm going to hit enter again, and now it's like right. But the fact that it just like hung over here, for some reason, that's like my like way to know that it worked correctly as intended. All right, so now we should have a stabilized shell that is stable enough to run Nano. So now before we do anything else, again, we know that this box has sudo permissions, and we know that whoever set this box up knows how to use it well enough to make individual permissions. So why not immediately just try sudo L again and see what we come up with? And so we do sudo L again, and now we find that this box has, or excuse me, this user, this one can run as root. So server manage may run the following commands on VulnNet node as root. That's what these parentheses are here. With no password, we can run bin system control start VulnNet auto timer. So there's some kind of service for an auto timer. So we can start it, we can stop it, and we can do a daemon reload. What that means is that we can stop this service, we can edit the service, we can do a daemon reload, and then we can start the service back up. So we have the power to modify it. So we need to look at this service. So let's do a locate to figure out exactly where this guy is at, the service. So VulnNet auto timer. And there it is. It's an Etsy systemd system VulnNet auto timer. So I'm going to copy this guy. We're going to do a Control Shift C, and then I'm going to cat. And this guy is, okay, so it says run VulnNet utilities every 30 minutes. So this is it's basically doing like a cron kind of thing. So on calendar, every 30 minutes, it's going to run the VulnNet job.service every 30 minutes. That's what that means. So we need to find out what this VulnNet job service is. I have a feeling it's probably in that same directory, but let's just do a locate on that too. So locate VulnNet tac job.service, and we find that it's there. So this time we'll just do a cat etc. Oops, system. Oh, I don't have tab completion. I should have copied it. System VulnNet. Oh my gosh, I'm so gonna type this wrong. VulnNet tac job.service. Okay, I got it. Wow, first try. So this service is going to, let's see, unit, description, service. Here it is down here, gather system statistics, type forking. It's going to execute, start. It's going to run bin df, which is a little utility to look at, like if I do a df-h right now, it's going to show me, it just shows me like hard drive information, drives information, like how much is, see, it says how much is used and where it's mounted and how much is available and blah, blah, blah. So instead, it's running a binary. So we can hijack this, and let's actually see if we can, oh my gosh, this terminal's like, I'm getting scared because we need to be able to, we got to be able to nano and change this stuff, but man. Paste clipboard. Okay. VulnNet. We'll see if we can edit this guy and change it. So we need to edit two things. We need to edit this one, like what it runs, and we need to edit the other one to be every 1 minute. So let's see if we can edit this guy. Nano, and we're gonna paste in the okay, so we're in Nano now. Oh, good, it's working. All right, so let me get my exact line that I want to paste in here. Whenever you're doing something like this, it's always a good idea to try to make sure that you have got what you're going to paste in here ready to go, so that you can do it quickly. So I'm going to copy this. Okay, so I'm going to stick I'm going to comment that line out. We're going to go to the end of this line. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Relax there, Nano, relax. We're going to try to paste this line in. Dang it. All right, I'm going to type it in and make sure I don't type it incorrectly. Okay, so didn't I just tell you guys that you should not do what I'm doing right now? In fact, you know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm gonna grab, I know where I've got this at. So I'm gonna go over here. I do have it. Okay, so I've got it handy. Copy. I don't want to mess this line up because it's, okay, there it is. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to execute bin bash and we're going to run a command. That's what that means. So bin bash command. And we're going to copy bin bash to temp bash root. We're going to chmod it plus X and S. It gives it the sticky bit. And then we're going to put that in temp, or we're going to chmod xs temp root bash. So what we're doing is we're creating a copy of bash that will that can be run by everybody and can be run as root. All right, so there we go. All right, I've edited that one. Okay, so now we're going to go up here and I need to, I hate the fact that it's like VulnNet auto dot timer. Okay, so there it is. And all we need to do in this one, oh no, I forgot. See, I'm getting so excited. I'm like continually forgetting my rules that I need to do. Okay, so over here, I need to create another listener. Oh no, wait, I don't need a listener because remember I just said we're going to do this in here. We're creating a copy of bash, so we don't need a listener. So let's change this to once a minute. Okay, so now we're gonna Control X, yes. All right, so we've made it through the hardest part, which is, like I said, trying to get Nano to work with us. So now we're just gonna change directory to temp because that's where we told it to make the copy of bash. Oh man, oh good, we got it back. Okay, wow. The terminal has gotten really upset. Okay, so now we're waiting on, oh, we got to reload. That's what we got to do. Okay, so we need to do a sudo system control stop vulnnet dash auto timer. Okay, if we really wanted to see if that worked like we thought, we could do status. Oh, and it wants a password for that. Oh, we don't have status. Okay, I remember. So let's do sudo L again. I'll make sure I do this right. Okay, so sudo system control daemon reload. Okay, and now sudo system control vulnnet auto timer. Oh, why didn't it let me restart that? Did I? Oh, I didn't even put start in here like a goofball. All right, now that's started. So let's go to temp. And there it is, bash root. Notice how it is in all red because it has the S bit. See the S bit right here? There's the S bit. So the S bit is on it. And it is, that's why it's red, because of the S bit. Okay, so now to run root bash on a Debian based system, which Ubuntu is, we're going to use the P flag. Because technically, even though it's called bash root, this is just a copy of the bash binary. That's all it is. It's a copy of bash. And so we want to run it here. So we're going to do /bash root, and we're going to use the P flag. And the P flag tells it to retain the permissions of the owner of the file. And there we go, root bash 4.4. And notice we have the beautiful pound sign here. And now if we change directory to root, we can print working directory and we are in root. And now if we do an ls tag LAH, we will see that there is the root.txt. So we have done it. That is VulnNet node. Like I said, not for the faint of heart. This is probably the 4th time I've done walk through the box, and you saw I still had some, little snafus every once in a while trying to get through it. But I challenge you to work your way through it. I'll have the link to my written write-up. So you can go to the written write-up and see the actual commands. I'll have the commands in the actual post on my website. And you can get through it. But working through this is great. So many things to learn. And the stabilizing shell thing, I know I took way too long trying to learn how to do that. It's not, now that I know how to do it, it's not nearly as scary. So thanks for watching. If you made it this far, please give the video a like and maybe give a comment and say, hey, Knox, I made it all the way to the end. I did it. Woo! That would be great. Everybody, see y'all later.